Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. No matter what world you happen to be in, you're in the spin of the new way. I'm Dr. Lenny Time, and I'm a member of the Virtually Not Alone Network. And today we're just going to discuss disgusting. No, wait, that didn't come out right. Anyway, this is our question. Agency? What agency? Or should I say, which agency? Or any agency, but we are a member of the Virtually Not Alone Network. And so by being here, you are virtually not alone. Now, I've had some interesting times in my life, but I have decided that right now we live in interesting times is a Chinese curse. And the reason it's a Chinese curse is because interesting times are a lot more work to live in than simple laid back times. But the fact is that right now there's a lot of people working very hard to determine your reality for you. So you have to work equally as hard to determine your reality for you, lest they be the people to control your reality. Shout out to John Nolan. I was watching his Inspired channel today, and his interviewer was talking about filing paperwork to become sovereign, which is one of those things that I have thought of many times, sending back to the time when I was a co founder of the Universal Sovereigns of a Living Earth, which was a back of the comic book church. We got certified. We paid some money to get a nonprofit designation. And we went around talking about sovereignty and drawing the wrath of everybody in the political system and finding out that really there's nobody in charge. If you want to file paperwork to get out of the system, who do you file it to? That's not in the system to accept your being out of the system. The system is gone. I mean, we the people, we the humans, and on human scale, we operate one human at a time. I am a human. You are a human. They, well, we can't tell about them. And who is the them we speak about when we say they? I don't know anymore. All I know is that I have withdrawn consent, so I am not subject to the maritime law and the idiocy of the licensing standards and the way things go. But realize in the past, I have been bonded. And so I know what it means to give your word to uphold something. I figure all bets are off when they had the Citizen United case and decided that corporations were people. Because if corporations are people and don't have a finite lifetime, and laws come based on the time when they were passed, then the corporations passing laws could sit back, spend 40 years without laws, and then come back, and all the laws now benefit them because over the 40 years, they've brainwashed the people into believing that corporations are people. Corporations are not people, and the way out of this is through a non fiscal trade system. We have to get rid of the money, but it's happening to itself. The monetary system is collapsing, but all you hear is, oh, yes, buy Bitcoin. Oh, yes, get gold. Oh, yes, go get silver. Oh, yes, stock up on $100 bills. If anything, it seems to me that the coinage would be useful for being coinage in a new system. But let's get to balance equations first thing. and that any trade needs to be balanced so that both sides are receiving fair value and there's not a silly middleman taking their cut and making everything worthless, or a series of middlemen who function with each other in coordination to make it so that the buyer and the seller don't ever get to deal with each other and everybody gets a cut along the way. You never know how it's going to go. But I see I have Grizz in the audience. And so, welcome, Grizz, to the new way, which is, of course, the old way changed to be new.
Well, we're gonna have to upload you a different image because the only one we have is the one with Beholder with Lenny Time and Griswalker.
Okay,
I can
yeah,
click
I
your
noticed
brand.
that my bunny somehow lost his bubble.
I can fix that right here. Watch this. Click. Boom.
Hey, yeah, that was one of the things because I did something with my computer and I pulled out my 3 terabyte drive and switched some folders around. And lo and behold, I can't find any of the documents I've downloaded in the last month, several months, or what was sent to me. I know I put it on that drive, but now I didn't label it properly, so I can't find it.
All right. All right. I can stream this to my audience. Um,
Good. I've already been into it for about 5 minutes, almost 7.
I'm forced first gonna get a link to your channel,
My
and
channel
then
still has its links.
let's
In
see.
fact, you can see the link to the StreamYard on the screen for anybody who wishes to join.
All right. If you'll allow me to disrupt what you have going for a minute or so,
Sure, I'll do some branding. Should I do some branding?
if you don't seem to have any loaded, that's nice. Keep that up. Keep that up. I'm gonna put this up. Hey, look at you do have you got some banners going. Okay, I see what you're doing now.
Yeah, banners were easy enough to be able to do because it made sense onto how to do a banner.
It was
But
straightforward.
yeah,
All right, so I'm gonna throw up this sign and start the stream so it kicks over to that channel, and then I'm gonna drop the link in the comments and bring them over here. If it see, we'll see how it goes. Okay.
okay. However it goes is however it goes.
Friday Fun Day. Here we go. Ba, ba, ba. Wait, oh, I have to put a title in. And then,
That could be your title.
I'm calling it the library because we're only going to run it for like 2 minutes. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Um, hold the. Let me get this set up over here. You hold your audience.
I got to hold my audience. I have a hand here and I have a hand here. So if we hold hands, then we can raise them up. And now we are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. I think Freddie does it much better than I do. I'm no match for Freddie Mercury, but I don't really try to be much of a match for
I can
Freddie
bring my.
Mercury.
I can bring myself up. I have co-host powers. We
Yeah.
are the champions. Wait, sorry, I was doing something.
Hold me, Doc.
Hey, Neutrino, good to see you.
Ooh, warm my soul and stay with me. No, they
Wait a minute,
got
wait a
rock music for everything.
minute. Look,
I think any theory that you want to pass, you can find the proper rock music to get it passed.
Love potion number 9.
Number 9.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that's one that would have been a very good song when my friend was looking for number 9 songs. I'll have to write that down. She's
Boy,
your
howdy.
friend too, but you would know her as you.
But like the lyrics, I think they involve consulting a doctor. Or is that no? That's the Chipmunk song I'm thinking of. All right, I got too many things going on over here.
Well, I was watching the Inspired channel, and
There you go.
somebody who they have a long interview with they had some clips that made it a short set of interviews, and they were talking about the concept of sovereignty. And so I started talking about the universal sovereigns of a living earth. And that
What are
was
those?
a church that I had organized at some point. And
Soul. I like it. I like it.
Universal Sovereigns of Living Earth was a 504c8 charity or something. But anyway, it was a back of the comic book type of deal through the Universal Life Church, where you could have your own branch and be a pastor. So I'm not like Pastor Paul. I don't do that sort of stuff. But I
But
actually did conduct the wedding one time.
you have that in common with Papa Peterson, then. All right, I'm ready. I'm going to start the LARP gate over on the. I'm going to fire up the LARP gate on my channel and see if we can bring some people
Okay.
over. And a one, and a two, and savings throws. We're gonna do some savings throws. Hey
We can
everybody,
do some
welcome,
saving
welcome.
throws.
I'm over at Lenny's house on the Doc Time channel, and thanks to the power of StreamYards, I can also stream this LARPgate to you. It's a brief invitation to come join us over at Lenny's, and should appear in the Hive Mind chat now. We'll hold the portal open for a few minutes, and what are we doing over at your place, Doc?
Well, I was starting off with a monologue talking about the system and how I really don't consider myself part of it anymore. But one of the reasons why the system is so overwhelming to most people is because there is no alternate system and no way of developing an alternate system. Because as soon as we start talking, we will be either banned or shadow banned, depending on whether they want us to keep talking or whether they want us to just shut up and go away.
It
But
sounds to me as though you may have failed a savings throw, Doc. Let's
I, I can't fail a savings throw,
I
can
don't
I?
know. I think it sounds like you're under some pessimistic mind control with that view of the system. So let's
Oh no, I'm under an opposite. I am very relieved to not be part of that system.
let's give people the savings throws, and then have them come over to your place, and we'll get into that maybe. Uh, uh,
Perhaps.
I'm stealing your screen.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you get to choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart as the basis for your savings throw against Doc Time's mind control. You better roll high. If you get over a 10, you take half damage. Under a 10, you take full damage and might end up on a different timeline, maybe. Oh, that's very dangerous. This is a very dangerous stream. Um, oh yeah, and so survival, social, wisdom, or heart. You get bonuses for chatting in the Hive Mind chat, leaving comments, replaying, sharing, that sort of thing. They're numbered out. I'm not going through them right now, but they exist, and you can have them. You get +2 for a regular Hive Mind chatting, and if you go over to Lenny's and chat there, it'll get a +5 to this, and you might need it. Once again, survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Survivalists. You're not gonna make it. That's a 2. A 2. Socialists, a 5. You could get that. You could get that up with bonuses. Lovers of wisdom, the number of transformation, 11. And hard folks, prime 17. Indigo kids, also prime 17. And those are your savings throws for this Friday Fundae LARPgate portal over to Doc Times, which I will once again put in the chat. For moments from now, the part on my channel will cease to be, and you'll have to come here at this link to find us.
Oh, that's an interesting way of doing it. I have several people here, and I am able to drop all these different. Oh, wow. I know what that one is. I've seen that before.
That's the link to your channel.
That's
Look,
how
we
I knew what it was.
got Neutrino out there, Eve, McMo, all you folks. How's it going, Eve? There's Red Pill.
The answer
But
to
why?
that question, Chad the alcoholic, is why not?
Why not? All right, I think we've kept the portal open on my end long enough. I'll see you guys. We're over at Doc's. Come play. Wait.
Okay. Now that we are, no, now you're gone.
Now we're safe.
Now we're safe from the mind control, except we can't succumb to our own mind control. Or if we succumb to our own mind control, does that mean we're in control of our own mind?
Hmm.
That might be
Well,
something useful.
it's like you can intentionally construct your own programming, like you're doing with the calendar you're using. That's you
Yeah.
succumbing to your own mind control. Are you sounding today?
Um, Let me see what I am today. Today I am mass powering.
Well, I guess that's why you brought me in.
Yeah, you are mass loving because you are one day ahead of me, I think. You might be a
For,
couple days ahead of me. I don't know. I haven't been tracking you. I've been tracking me.
that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
But you know, if the system were something that wasn't there, it would be easy to create new systems.
Oh, but the foundational source underneath the system is built on top of the systems. And so, like, the same way you can be part of multiple timelines, you can be part of their system because you've been systematized by their system, but you can operate under your own system.
You see, my theory on time says that we're not on the same timeline unless we find some synchronicity to put ourselves on the same timeline, but we are always on the same narrative.
Now, when you
So,
say put ourselves on the same timeline, I think that's wonky because I don't think like when we find the synchronicities, like that's like an indication that we're on one, like a sign that we're on one. But how is that us? Like, because when you say we can put it sounds
okay,
more like we're
the,
steering, and I don't know
the
how much of that steering is
timeline
happening.
and the narrative are different things.
Yes, of course.
The narrative defines what goes on the timeline, but there is no need to have it restricted to a single timeline. And in fact, I posit that the narrative is on multiple timelines of all sorts of sizes and scales. And if you are on the narrative, you can be on any timeline. It doesn't have to be coincidental. Who's VVK?
Verveke, the big fancy talker word hands man.
No, 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 no,
No,
no.
no, no. Yes, he's the
Okay.
no guy. Mind control and Q&A 3 times in succession. Yes. See, I don't know, like the system that we don't like, that is operant as far as I can tell, is that we get more points if we tell you and then you go along anyway, and that saying mind control 3 times in the thing about mind control is the same as me telling you and then you going along anyway.
I think Neutrino has a Titanic theory for us.
Go implode. No, no jokes are too soon. Those people are too soon to hear. People are too soon to hear.
So, anyway, I think that longer lived timelines are ones that have made it through the shorter lived narratives, and the narrative has some potential to yield something. And so, therefore, you have more time in your human normalized time to get something done. So, some people don't have to get anything done in normalized human time, and their worlds can take micro milliseconds.
Wait, wait,
Whereas
wait,
some of
wait,
us are
wait, wait,
working
wait.
on things
You're
that
just
take
spinning
place
me
in
out now,
thousands of
man.
years.
You're just
Okay.
spinning me out. What about this fruits of the narrative part?
You can't escape the narrative.
No. But you said like the narratives have a potential to produce something. Like there's a reason for the narrative. So like narrative
Yeah.
fruit. What are the fruits of narratives, and how do they
Well,
apply?
once you get there, you know, but you have to sort of be a time lord like Doctor Who to be able to master the ability to operate on several different timelines at once, but they're all within the same narrative.
Right, but you're saying there are shorter narratives and longer narratives, and some of the shorter ones have fruit. So, like, what's an example of a narrative you've been a part of, and what was its fruit?
Well, let's go back to my LARP, the New Way radio show.
Okay.
The LARP consisted of me getting on the show and just doing monologues. And I was in Discord, and I have a friend in Discord who happens to be really good at making fun of people.
I
So
have a
the
lot
all
of friends in
yes.
Discord.
Well, the all seeing
In
you taught me
Discord.
very well. She is a lovely lady, and everybody should go watch her channel because she does good stuff.
At least her Heart View Cinema stuff is really good.
Yes. But besides that point, once people started coming into my Discord when we were on air, I allowed them to talk as long as they were muted when they had nothing to say. And that way, when somebody had something to say, they would unmute. I could call on them and they can come up and be a character in the show.
We can do that here, where we throw people under the deck on
Absolutely.
StreamYards until they raise their hand. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no problem with that. But this concept was done, what, 5 years ago? 2017, 2018 time. And what happened was it grew and it got beyond single human scale. But you see, that's what I study in my group theory is how human scale works, and beyond single human scale, a group of 2 or 3 or 5 is all single human scale. But by the time you get to 8, you almost need a second derivative group because 8 people in a chat room trying to be co-equals means that nobody gets more than 12.5% of the time, and that doesn't quite work.
It's interesting you say 8 is a good group size because like early I was still associated with the sorting myself out channel back at this time. But there I came across the THC channel interviewed this lady called I think something McTaggart, I don't know. But
Lynn McTaggart, that's the
she
book
did
I
this
sent you to, The Field.
she did this she was doing this power of 8 thing about 8 people doing like intentional meditations together, and I thought like that is exactly the vibe that is missing from this little corner. But since like if you go to the sorting myself out channel, you'll see that its ad thing is still like Porden B. Jeterson, and like at the time that was a um, to left field to approach that lady to talk to. But maybe we can circle back and bring her around. So what you said, the fruit of the narrative of the radio show was how it expanded beyond the expansion, the growth that happened therein, yeah,
Yeah,
of the
and it
concept. And now where the fruit of that is that it might potentially reiterate here as part of your live streams.
well, it's going to get even bigger than it did there because I was able to control 34 people as clowns in the show or members of the cast.
Clowns, you say?
Clowns
Before
to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I
here
am,
I am.
stuck in the middle with you.
And thanks to Quentin Tarantino, that's always associated with torture for me now.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Well,
we have
let's
8 people
embody.
here, Lenny. We have eight people. And
It says we have
oh
9,
wait,
but
Dad just left.
9 is a group of 8. Everything up to 12 is a group of 8, but when you hit 13, 13 is the Fibonacci number after 8. So then the group of 13 is a different group than 8. And since every group is plus or minus 1, if you lose a member and go back down to 12, you're still a group of 13.
Disciples are a group of 13. I got to get serious for
Plus
a
or
moment if
minus
I can,
1,
Lenny.
yeah.
If you'll allow it, I need to get serious. We have whatever people
Okay.
here, we have whatever tension we have. If everybody would just take a moment and then imagine, visualize, experience, feel on the inside, simulate, evoke within yourself an awareness of healing energy, and send it to Buddy the cat. I have to take him to the vet very shortly. He's been ill for over 18 hours now, and I'm quite concerned. So if you would please, positive energy, let's just see what we can do together for a second, eh? No, seriously, it's my cat. Okay, thanks, Lenny.
Okay.
We're getting a lot. Oh, you're casting magic missiles. I can't upload from where I am, but I can perhaps run it this way.
Any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast magic missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am though, if you'd listen. I'm casting magic missile. Why are you casting magic missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
No. Oh, and then we're back to that.
Great.
All right.
We are crowding the chat room because I'm having trouble just keeping up with all the comments.
Oh, as a host, you can ignore it mostly. And as a co-host, it would be like my job to bring important ones to your attention.
Oh, no. We don't want to ignore it. What we want to do is embrace it and remember to embody.
All right. It's your place if that's how you want to run things. I think, though, for me, I'm always busy putting on the show and then come back and catch it when I can, rather than trying to keep up as it goes past me.
Yeah, well, everybody has their own way of doing things. And way, WEIGH, is how I measure things and compare them to each other. Because if you can't weigh things and put them together, I like you to, Eve, then you don't quite get it right. But that's part of the fun of being human, is that we never quite get it right. We go over the same iterations over and over and over. And no, I don't play the dwarfs because I'm Doc and somebody tried to give me Grumpy. And it doesn't work that way. So now I only play Santa Claus.
Hey, Doc, I'm going to drop the link to this place in your chat if you give me permission so somebody else can come on board.
Certainly. And anyone who wants to be on board is certainly welcome to come on board, because we're up for conversation.
It's Friday Fundae here on the Doc Time stream, the new way, as it were.
Yes, but we spell Fundae like some ice cream sundae because it makes us happy.
That sounds delicious. I do have to go take him to the vet now, though, folks. So thanks for having me on, Doc, and enjoy the fun day.
Yes, thank you for coming, Grim. And I will get back to talking, but probably not back to talking what I was talking about, because I don't think I remember that long ago.
The hive minds tend to steer sometimes. Good. Hope you made your savings throws.
Be well. There is agency, but the question is, which agency? And since we can't tell, all we can assume is that most agencies have 3-letter names, and I'd rather call them 4-letter words. But, thank you, Grizz, because we are a member of the Virtually Not Alone network. But I'm not sure we're here at any corners. We have to square the circle to even begin to get a corner. But I once worked at a place called NASA, which is specifically means not a space agency, but they sure do pretend. And I am going to get a guest who I think can talk and talk and talk and talk about physics and futures and all sorts of things that might be pertinent to what we're thinking about. But the trick is, at a basic level, if we want to play by a new set of rules, we have to come up with a new set of rules to play by. And the one that thumps that thing called the Constitution has been brainwashed into everybody's head that that's the only way to do a representative republic that everybody calls a democracy. We're not a democracy, we're a representative republic, and we don't really get to even elect our representatives because the representatives are bought and paid for by the lobbyists and the corporations. And there's this court case, Citizens United, that somehow a court ruled that corporations can be people. So I propose that humans are not people, and that we the people needs to be changed to read we the humans, because us humans are shortchanged by the corporate people who have a much longer shelf life than we have, because we are made of flesh and blood, and we normalize our lifetimes to 80 years, even though they might be in a micromillisecond or they might be in 26,000 years. You never know. Didn't the dead get to elect representatives? Only in Arizona. But they elected something that's dead and put it in the office of the President of the United States. But there's a precedent for having no president. And so I can't tell you why, because at this point, why is not a significant issue. But it does bring me to a different concern that I'm developing a whole field called sociochemistry. Now, everybody here knows that I'm a chemist, or if you didn't know, I've now doxed myself. I'm a chemist. But, chemists have all the solutions. But the understanding that chemists have all the solutions means that there's a mathematics devoted to chemistry that sort of makes sense based on the concept of balancing equations. And so if equations can balance on human scale, that would be social. And social, what do I mean? Social. So sociology. So if sociology and chemistry are similar in form and content, then they use the same mathematics. And all the math that I know from group theory in chemistry, which assigns atoms to molecules, is totally appropriate for working on human scale. And human scale is each of us is one human, and we operate where we can't be subdivided into 3 humans or 8 humans or 15 humans. You are one human, and the only way you get to be another human is if you bounce off this timeline and go to another timeline. But once you bounce off this timeline, you can't get back to this timeline. It just doesn't work that way. So we have to learn to work in multiple timelines at the same time. And that means noting when a difference occurs between something that really happened and something that you thought was going to happen, because what you thought was going to happen actually did happen and shut off a different timeline. And you're not there, you're here, because this is here where your consciousness is. So we are assembled here, and it seems like I need a banner to say why we are assembled here. It's because we're virtually not alone. And by assembling here, we can talk about things that don't necessarily get talked about, and we can loan each other agency. Agency was not a song by Supertramp or an album by Supertramp. The actual album was called Crisis, What Crisis, and featured a guy with a cocktail on a lawn chair in some sort of city watching what was going on. And whatever was going on, that's what was going on. So however we do it, that's how we do it. And the results of any action always lead to that action, but also can lead to another action that you don't get to see because you took the opposite choice. And when you took the opposite choice, you created another parallel strand timeline. But every so often, that choice is significant and it causes a perpendicular strand timeline. And if you get on a perpendicular strand timeline, you're not subject to this narrative anymore. This narrative is the one that brings all the different timelines on all the different fractals together. And how many fractals are there? 144 divided by 3. Actually divided by pi, 3.14. And so however it works is how it works, and how you think it works is how it works for you. So if it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. And in some other timeline, you didn't choose to do it anyway, and so you're much better off. But if the timelines don't have significant differences, they merge. And sometimes they merge anyway, even if there are differences. So when there's differences between timelines that merge together, that's called a Mandela effect. And the Mandela effects are real, and you can tell them mostly from geography or entertainment. A lot of movies have the words changed. Luke, I am your father. It was never in Star Wars, or so they want us to believe. But you know, I heard it. Life is like a box of chocolates, but it's also like a bowl of cherries, and somehow we get stuck in the pits. So whatever you think is correct, whatever somebody else thinks can be modified to be correct. But if you change how you think because of what somebody else said, you lose a whole bunch of abilities, no matter what your savings throw told you, because it's very imperative to think for yourself and let other people think for themselves. You really can't tell how it's going to go because it goes however it goes. And so how it goes is how it goes, and it goes. And so you might as well ride the wave while you can and realize that everybody else in the world is here to disappoint you. So if you know they're going to disappoint you, when you get disappointed, you don't have to worry about it so much because it's programmed into humans to be disappointing. Although, if you try specifically not to disappoint people, keep notes. It might be interesting to see how that works. Anybody here do human design? Raise your hand if you do. I did human design a couple of different times, and I've looked at my chart, But to tell you the truth, I really don't know what the chart says in human design terms, because human design has their own language, and languages like that require a glossary to tell you what the words mean. And so I've just been sort of helping some people with their glossaries, and it's a good thing sometimes. I see Magic has popped into the room. We have two choices. I can either bring her on screen or fire magic missiles. It looks like a pretty good way of looking at things. We will fire magic missiles. Hey, Grizz, I'm not in the room. What room? The one where he's firing the magic missiles. Who's firing magic missiles? I am. Why are you firing magic missiles? Who are you firing them at? Oh, we're firing them at the darkness. Well, you know, in the darkness.
Oh no. Okay.
Hello.
Hi. I was just stopping backstage to say hi.
Oh, okay. I will put you back down backstage, and you can still comment as we do. I sort of came on to talk, and I started talking, and Grizz came on, and so I lost what I was talking about. Spent time with Grizz, and then he went to take his cat to the vet.
Oh no.
And so when you take a cat to the vet, all it means is that you're probably going to expire one of those 9 lives, but they don't necessarily expire on their own. You got to watch those vets. But you know, if you need, what was it, Invermycin, the stuff for COVID, you can get it from your vet a lot cheaper than you can get it from your doctor.
I think it's ivermectin.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They make up words in medicine that sound like chemistry words so they can be impressive, but the chemistry words have meaning to each of the different syllables, and the biology words have meaning to nobody. So everybody's confused. And then they go showing you commercials on television telling them that you should tell your doctor that you want prophylactic alcohol.
That's why I don't watch television.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to overrule your doctor because you've studied medicine for a lot longer than they have. But then, you know, sometimes I wonder what they studied, because they sure don't know anything much about biology or chemistry, which you would think would be the 2 important things for a doctor to know about. But they seem to know more about insurance billing and Medicaid.
Yeah.
And those just aren't topics that I even worry about, because heck, I was out of the system for a good dozen years. And the way to work the system is to be part of it. You can't attack the system from outside, but you can't attack the system from inside. So don't worry about attacking the system. It will destroy itself on its own. But if we can't come up with alternates to the system so that when things within the system fall apart, we can just say, oh, we'll do it this way. And the thing is not to go out and share them on a large scale. It's to make sure they work here on human scale. And
yeah, I'm trying to start with my apartment here.
Okay.
Trying to get that going, and then
you're
it out to my
You're doing good, because part of magic is incantations, and when we move our arms, we're throwing spells.
Help me!
It's one of those things where the guy who's shooting magic missiles is not in this room right now. Right, Grizz? I'm not in the room. Whoever makes Grizz's cartoons does a good job.
Yeah.
I think Grizz does an excellent job. I'd love to take his reaping room and reap some of my old content, but I have so much content out there that I've given in the past. And so one of the things I did was I sent a friend a old way, new way live stream. And when I send out the new way live streams, I like to watch them so I know what I sent people. And it was one where I talked about the Tree Eye calendar, which is what I talked to Grizz on in the last Grizz live stream that I did. And so I think things are circular and happen for reasons well beyond our control, because I have over 200 different shows out there that I could have chosen. And yet I chose a show that was specifically relevant to something I had been talking about within the week.
You think about things where I just go, oh, okay.
Well, coincidence is like that, isn't it?
Yeah, when you say it out loud, I go, oh, yeah. That's it.
Nothing happens because it just happens, but everything happens because it just happens.
Right, pretty much no matter what we do.
We can find a philosophy quoted that says anything we want to repeat because somebody in the past has worked with that philosophy. But Nietzsche said God was dead, and God said Nietzsche was dead and laughed, and only one of them could be right.
I'm enjoying this.
I have spent time with philosophers.
Mm-hmm.
You remember back when Monty Python did the Philosopher's Song? Immanuel Kant was a real pissant who was very rarely stable. Heidegger was a boozing beggar who could drink you under the table. David Hume could outconsume Liechtenstein and Schlegel. And Rene Descartes was a drunken fart. I drink, therefore I am. That wasn't the right line there, but I wanted to cut it off because my singing will drive anybody to drink.
It was lovely. Really, it was. I liked it.
I would love for somebody to hook me up with John Cleese. I think that man.
I would have him over for dinner.
All the people in Monty Python, I thought he was the best at staying in character, tongue in cheek, no matter what they asked them to do.
Yeah.
And the episodes that
he became my hero with his School of Silly Walks.
Yeah, but what I liked him as was that parrot is nailed to its foot. It's pushing up the daisy.
The dead parrot sketch.
Yeah. He was good in the cheese shop also.
Yeah.
The brie, well, it's sort of runny. Well, that's okay. I'll take it. It's very runny. No, I want that brie. Sorry, it just ran out the door.
Yeah, I think my favorite Monty Python movie, and other people would say the Holy Grail, Life of Brian, is Live from the Hollywood Bowl, where they come out at the beginning in the holding the trays with the drinks on them and the bartender's apron that goes all the way down to the floor. And they sing a little song to start the show, and when they turn around to walk off, they don't have pants on. Have you seen it?
No, not that I remember, but I do remember the sketch of the man with 3 buttocks who wouldn't take off his pants to demonstrate it. So thank you, Anselman, for the cue. We'll definitely check out the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band.
We will. I should probably go and let you do your show.
Okay. I will allow you to go, but it's a pleasure having you here.
Oh, okay. I thought I was interrupting.
Oh, heavens, no. I can talk for hours on end in monologue. And when somebody comes in and takes me into a duologue instead of a monologue, I never quite get back to the same monologue for the same reason that every time I try and explain the Tree calendar, I get to mass, form, and flow. And when we start talking about power, the power goes to everybody's heads and we never get any further.
Well, here's what I think. Here's what I think. Here's Doc Time, and he's doing his monologue, and Magic comes in from outside and says, "Oh, Doc Time's on." And then I come in, and then the energy shifts around.
And it gets to a lower, more stable energy that has a lot more energy in it because it's better grounded than Doc Time alone or Magic alone.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, what it is it's the way that frequencies make harmonics.
Yeah,
And the
resonate.
more, anytime you're in a group bigger than your group of one, the harmonic of the group is different from your solo frequency.
I'm so very well aware of that. I feel it.
Yeah, and every time another person adds into the group, it changes the group theory.
Mm-hmm.
So in basic group theory, you start with 1 on human scale, and then you go up to 1 on all human scale.
Group dynamics.
You have to decide how big all human scale actually is.
Anselman.
And so it could be a group of 5, it could be a group of 50, it could be a group of 150, it could be a group of everybody in the world. But you have to gain control of that bigger one, and then you go to the next group, which is 1, back to yourself.
How do you get control of the bigger one?
Well, you choose it from a side that you know you can handle. If it's a group of 5 or 8 or 13 other Fibonacci numbers,
Oh, you were
working with them.
I was thinking the whole world.
You're thinking everybody? Well, you see, that's the purpose of the game.
Yeah, what I do is I go whoop, go way up. I go up into the clouds and I look down until everybody's tiny and not scary. And
that's
then
a way of looking
I
at
watch,
it.
I watch them move around, and I feel the energy coming off of them. You guys all make me smile.
Wasn't that a Chicago song? Getting back to my theory that everything philosophical was set in music in the 1970s. Chicago does a song called "Make Me Smile."
Yeah, but Chicago's horns were too blary.
In some cases, in songs like "Color My World," they didn't even play the songs.
Oh, "Color My World's" pretty. It's very pretty song.
It is.
Yeah,
but,
they didn't
know, when you play
blary horns.
When you play "Color My World," then you have to follow it with Cyndi Lauper, "True Colors."
No, I don't.
Okay, you don't have to. Because that's the song that, to me, comes on as the next song. And I'm pretty good at choosing the next song to go in with the song that's playing.
Are all of yours connected to old jam tapes that you used to make and that you listened to 1,000 times in the car or wherever? Because
yeah. There are some songs that just follow that pattern. There's other songs that weren't even written at that time. Or renditions of the song that I like that are different from the original artist.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Joni Mitchell's "Twisted."
Mm-hmm.
And when I found it was written by Annie Ross and that she had a video from 1957 of her doing "Twisted,"
yeah,
I don't think I've listened to Joni Mitchell's "Twisted" since.
Right. Right. If I want Joni, I want either the Big Yellow Taxi or Both Sides Now.
Oh, I spend a lot of time in Hajira. If
Did
I'm
you?
down, Hajira is one of those albums that I can listen to and it'll keep me down and gradually pick me up.
Yeah.
But Joni, that's the thing about some of these bands. They were terrifically prolific
Hmm.
back when they were putting out music. Nowadays, if you get a band and it puts out an album every other year, it's a big thing. Remember when the Beatles used to do 4 or 5 albums a year?
They went crazy for a while. Yeah.
I remember when I got Revolver, and all of a sudden, Magical Mystery Tour was on the shelf. And it's like nobody really paid much attention to Revolver. Heck, Revolver could be the best Beatles album of all time.
Yeah, I got Magical Mystery Tour first and got Revolver a couple of years later. But wow, I was in the Magical Mystery Tour.
Yep. And Sergeant Pepper's.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Anthony.
Anthony is also known as Oracle Raven if you run into him in other places.
You just blew his cover. Upcycle.
Did. We do lots of good stuff in blowing people's cover because what was the song? Looking for a lover who won't blow my cover is so hard to find. Take it easy. Don't sing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a group song I've sung not all that long ago.
It's funny how you can always find the right song lyrics to throw back at somebody when you don't want them to know what you're actually thinking.
Shh.
Anytime I
You
come
blew
out
my
with a
cover.
new song right away, it's because I got triggered.
Yeah.
When you're triggered, well, it's like Simon and Garfunkel. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard.
I'll comfort you. I'll take your part.
Yep.
When times are tough.
And friends just can't be found. Like a bridge over troubled waters, I will ease your mind. Did you make your savings throw?
I didn't. I was late.
Okay. Well, we know that your savings throw is love anyway.
Hot.
Art. And my savings throw is always wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten to the point where I don't even listen to the other savings throws. Wisdom, and it was a 7. Well, I have enough bonuses that I passed that one. Or it was an 11, or it was a 15. But very rarely is wisdom a 1 or a 20. And don't you think if you get a nat 20, you should be immune from all the mind control, not just half of it?
Well, I don't know. I all I know is that when you're always hard, you kind of get your ass kicked a lot. But when it's good, it's really good.
They're coming to take me away. To the funny farm.
Where life is beautiful all the time, and I'll be glad to see those nice young men in their clean white coats, and they're coming to take me away.
There's always a way of dealing with it. And when you've been to the funny farm more than once, you learn how it works. And you know what they do? They put the picture of the people walking around in the yard for their exercise in behind on the television so you can barely see it. But you're watching a movie, and what you're really watching is people walking around in a circle. But that's how you know you're in a time loop, When you're watching a movie that you've seen over and over, and all of a sudden there's a different actress playing against the main character,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, wait a minute, wasn't Meg Ryan in that movie? And she's not. She never was. But you remember her there. That was when Harry Met Sally, I think.
When
And I'm sure I saw Billy Crystal with somebody that wasn't Meg Ryan doing that movie. And I'm
yeah.
like, wait a minute. This doesn't make sense. Well, Talking Heads told us stop making sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you have my favorite scene from Harry Met Sally playing in my head. I won't do that here.
I often find that after a good conversation, I have to go back and rewatch a movie that I've already seen.
Yeah, it's her and Crystal in the restaurant.
Yeah.
My
For
favorite.
those of you who want to watch a real good movie free on YouTube, this is the title of the movie I want you to go watch. It's called 41. It's a time travel movie. And it has one of those interesting precepts in it. I don't think time travel works the way the movie does, but the movie really holds it together.
It must be the step just before The Secret of the Universe that we got from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because that was 42.
Right. And every number between 1 and 264 has a purpose, but I don't know what most of their purposes is. But the answer to the universe is definitely 42.
42, yeah.
And 41 is definitely a time travel movie.
Okay.
The best time travel movie, I think, was Groundhog's Day.
I saw Groundhog's Day a million years ago.
That's a movie worth rewatching every couple years because you get new stuff out of it. But Bill Murray is one of the best deadpan comedians I've ever seen.
I like Bill Murray.
Yeah. The only movie I didn't like of his the first time I saw it was Lost in Translation.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've watched it 4 or 5 times, it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It's just you want him to be funny. And just no way. That's not a funny movie.
Yeah, my son, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters came out when he was 5, and my favorite question of all time came from him because of Bill Murray, and he asked how old he had to be before he could say "Mother Puss Bucket,"
Wow.
and I said 37.
So now he's 38 and he uses it all the time.
He's almost 40 now.
Yeah, my favorite character from that movie was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good. He did a good job with that part. He was just like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, only I never imagined him mean before then. Never did.
I could have thought of him as the Michelin Man, but
Mm-hmm.
they were very, very similar characters.
They were.
So the idea of where I'm going with my LARP is to collect a cast of about a dozen characters who can stay in character and meet up in groups of 4 or 5 and role play out a scene.
Are they predetermined characters, or do the players get to create their own?
The players get to create their own, but they have to stay within the character parameters that they've created.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to count on the audience to call out characters that take actions that are out of character for the character.
Okay, I'm lost already.
Well, that's okay, because usually when people make a mistake in character, they start laughing. And
Okay.
that's going to be hard because you laugh all the time anyway.
I know. I'll do well. No, because I already know who I want to be.
Yeah. I've been watching shorts on the YouTube, and there's a character called Call Me Chris
Hmm.
that apparently was a TikToker at one time and now is a YouTuber. And she is hilarious, funny, and has at least 3 dozen characters.
Yeah.
And each one has their own different clothing that she wears to be in character.
Yeah.
And she's got a family of Russians that anytime they're on, I laugh and I laugh.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, Chris, and you want to come on to the New Way for an interview, just get a hold of me. I'm Dr. Lenny Time, also known as the Mad Dr. T. The Mad is from Mad Magazine. It's not Mutually Assured Destruction. Or it could be thought of as something from the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. Or it could just be Alfred E. Newman. What? Me worry? Nah, we never worry except when we're dealing with agency. What agency? I don't know. Do agencies have to have only 3 letters, or is NASA an agency too?
I keep hearing there is no agency.
NASA, never a straight answer. Okay, now I've done my branding. We are a member of the Virtually Not Alone community. And as you can see, my bunny got his bubble back. It was one
Buddy
of those
bubbles.
it was one of those things where I was doing work on the computer and I plugged in my hard drive and I took all the downloads that I had and moved them over to the portable hard drive. And when I went back to the portable hard drive, I couldn't find them. And for some reason, instead of copying from my computer and having them in both places, it moved them to the hard drive and didn't leave them on the computer.
Let's see.
So I'm going to have to go back and find a whole bunch of new memes because my old memes aren't in the accessible meme folder because that was one of the folders that disappeared.
I love making memes.
I did for a while when I had a tablet and a program for meme making,
Yeah.
but once the tablet went phooey, that was the end of me making memes because I really don't. When I get on my computer, I want to do my computer type stuff,
Yeah.
not tablet type stuff. And now it's been 3 years since the tablet worked. I wouldn't even know what tablet type stuff was anymore.
I've never had a tablet, so I do everything on my.
Well, I found a tablet to be an improvement over a phone solely because the screen was bigger.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of the phone.
No, I can't type on the phone at all. Ah, yes. Oops, like that.
I like that. His memes estate.
Well, I hate to disappoint the audience and everybody, but I see we're 10 minutes over my allotted hour.
Ah.
And I really try and stick to an hour because I know that is pushing the attention span of most humans. And I know for me, if I see a 2 or 3 hour video, if I want to watch it, I'll watch the first 45 minutes. And if it's got me sucked in, I'll watch the whole thing. But if it doesn't have me sucked in, I'll pause it after 45 minutes and try and remember to go back to it. And sometimes I do. But if it's much beyond the end of the day range, I wake up the next morning and it's not even on my mind anymore.
Sometimes I just can't sit still. So I need time to wiggle around.
Back in the day, they called it ants in the pants.
Ants in the pants. See you later.
All right. Thank you for coming, Magic. I want to thank also Grim because he was here earlier. And I want to thank everybody out there in Viewerland because we really can't do shows that make any sense without you interpreting them, reinterpreting them, and being here because we are virtually not alone together. And with that, I'll sign off. This is Dr. Lenny Time saying, have a good day. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch you again soon.